Hi everyone, this is our presentation for our final project in the Social Work with Communities and Organizations course, our community project, and the title of it is Fundraiser for Lighthouse Youth Services.
Background. The holiday season is usually time for family and friends to get together, but however, for many youth experiencing homelessness in the Cincinnati area, this is not the situation or case. We decided that we wanted to use Shakely Center for Youth, run by Lighthouse Youth Services, to provide for our community project because we thought it could be useful to help them because they are usually very busy during the winter season with temperatures dropping and with the winter capacity shelters being very busy. We decided to do this. In Cincinnati, there are over 11,000 people experiencing homelessness, and about 25% of them are youth. Shakely Center youth employee Pamela remarked that there are services for the area for youth and adults. And she says that this is an importance to our community because it affects us. Our project, our community was within Clifton Heights, University Heights, and Fairview. If you can look at the map, the two maps on the bottom are the areas that we were covering. Shakely Center is part of the Corryville community, which is not too far off of campus. And Corryville directly affects the CUF community. After formatting our group, we began the Imagine process, created by Chris Ashman, and Golfton, and then step-by-step developing and implementing our project for a better social work agency. I, import innovative ideas. M, muster support. A, identifying access. G, specific goals. I, implementing plans. N, neutralizing opponents. E, evaluating process.
So for our innovative idea, we started out by basically going through and just generating some ideas. So we first discussed the issues in our community that we noticed when completing our midterm project. So this kind of included some of the different issues we noticed in our community, which included homelessness. And this was because over 11,000 people were documented experiencing homelessness in Cincinnati in 2015. It also included poverty because of the majority of those in the CUF and Corryville communities make less than $10,000 a year, which is below the poverty line. It also included substance abuse because of the high illicit drug use in these communities, which included a consistently rising usage in heroin, meth, and marijuana. It also included childhood poverty because in Cincinnati, 52% of children aged 6 and under face poverty each year. And it also included youth homelessness, since 43% of the homeless population is under the age of 25. And then we also just brainstormed some of the things we could do to help local agencies with these different issues. So we started this by listing the agencies we knew of in the area, and then we narrowed them down using projects that we could feasibly do. So we also talked about during this section if we had any contacts with the agencies in our area, and we discovered that we had a contact at Lighthouse Youth Services within the Shakely Center for Youth. And the Shakely Center for Youth is always seeking donations. They're always accepting donations. So we thought that raising money for item donations would be a really good idea. But we still weren't sure how to do a fundraiser that we could reach a lot of people and generate all these donations. And we were looking into options about what methods we could use to get donations. And this raising money for item donations is known as a support project. And the book defines this support project as involving short-term endeavors aimed at specific ends that support some other agency activity. Next, we mustered support and formulated an action system. So in order to muster support, we talked with the contact that we had at the Sheakley Center to better understand what items the agency needed. So Pamela said that they always are needing hygiene products, especially soap, shampoo and conditioner, and toothpaste. She made like really special recommendations that we get bars of soap. She said that those were always running out really quickly. For some reason, they always need bars of soap. And she also said that since it's beginning to reach the cold weather season, that they always need hats, gloves, scarves, and socks. These things are things that they are always needing. They run out of those really quickly because the things that they get, kids always are coming in and not having these items. And then the action system was a hard process for us. We didn't really understand what this meant, but we found a section of the book that talked about the Imagine process and that defined the action system. So basically, the action system are all of the people and systems that have factors that affect the outcome of the fundraiser or of the project that you're doing. So for us, our action system included us as the coordinators of the fundraiser. We were kind of the center of the action system since every part of the project relied on us. And then this was followed by our contact of the Sheakley Center, the social media audience that we had of those who donated money, and the individuals whom we are donating the items to were also a factor in our action system.
Okay, so the A step of the Imagine process is to identify assets. So when we were doing this, we were trying to brainstorm what specifically about us and our group members we could use as assets for our project. And we recognized that we are all traditional college students, meaning that we're all relatively young and part of, I guess, the millennial generation. And one thing about our generation that really stands out in a positive way is the fact that we have really big social networks. So especially through our families and friends, classmates, and organizations that we're involved in on and off campus as well. And we determined that social networks are large assets, and we brainstormed effective ways to reach everyone in our networks because they are so big. And a lot of the times, these people may not necessarily be people we talk to on a daily basis, but we recognize them as people who would still be willing to contribute to our cause. And we did some research to kind of determine how to reach such a large audience, especially college-age students. And we found that there was an article written by Tess in 2013 that shows research that supports social media is prevalent on college campuses, and that's something that we all recognize here at UC as well. There's a really good, I guess, response to social media, and we figured that we would utilize that as a way to kind of reach out to people who would be potentially willing to donate to our project. So we identified social media as an asset because it allows us to connect to individuals in our social networks, even those who aren't living in Cincinnati. And Chris Dashman and Hull refer to that in the book as online organizing. And it was also noted in the book that advocacy groups use the internet. They tend to be trusted more than other groups. So it kind of gives a little bit of, I guess, peace of mind for people too, that they know they're donating to a cause that is credible. And this slide is just kind of summarizing how we used our assets. So by utilizing technology, we were able to reach a larger audience to inform them about our project. And we also provided information as well. So we were not only gaining donations, we were also educating our audience as well through technology because we included specifics about what the Sheakley Center for Youth does, statistics about homelessness too. So it was a really good way to engage our audience and educate them. We also provided several different means for donating. So people could donate monetary donations, and that can be done completely online. So that kind of took away any of the issues that may come about if we hadn't used technology trying to track down all these people and getting their donations. It made it really easy because people could do it centrally from their home, as well as allowing individuals to then share our posts with their family and friends. So not only were we reaching people in our social networks, but then everyone in theirs too. So our population and audience was just expanding further, increasing awareness, and also enabling us to have a larger audience for collecting donations. And the G is to specify goals, objectives, and action steps. So our goals and objectives, our initial goal was to raise around $200, and we came up with this number because it would allow us to provide items for about 15 to 20 individuals, and then we would donate these items to the Sheakley Center for Youth. Our action steps to achieve this goal, first were to create a GoFundMe and kind of navigate how to work that, best approaches for that, when to post, things like that, and then share the fundraiser on social media. And by doing that, we were asking family and friends to give money or share the post if they didn't feel comfortable giving money, just to get the word out. And we initially were going to have our audience ask them to keep sharing the link until the $200 was raised, or until the time came where we needed to buy the items. And then the further action steps are to purchase the items and take the items to the Sheakley Center for Youth. And the I step is implement the plan. So this is just basically what we did to do the plan. So we created the GoFundMe page on November 15th, and we began sharing the link that day. So every member of the group posted a status and link for their own family and friend groups, and then like I said, we kind of explained and educated our audience on why we were raising money, and we were really hopeful for donations, monetary contributions, or anything that people had around that they'd be willing to donate, like cold weather items. And below here you can see one of the posts, and kind of to get an understanding of what we were saying to people. So on the left side of the screen, that was kind of our little blurb, and then we instructed people to go to the link, which is shown here on the right side of the screen. And then once they clicked the link, they could get more information, and that would take them to a page where they could donate.
So the next step was neutralize opposition, and we knew there could be some problems, so we just kind of brainstormed what could happen. Even though the holidays is considered the season of giving, some people may be very short on cash and may not be able to provide monetary donations, or just the idea of being uncomfortable to donate to a GoFundMe page and doing monetary transactions online could discourage people from doing it. So instead, we also added encouraging donating the cold weather items and toiletries instead of the money, because we hope that would help them out a little bit with feeling uncomfortable. We encouraged all the individuals to share the post, just that way it was being distributed even if they didn't want to donate. We were just trying to figure out ways to work around the problems. And then we continued to share the links and posts on Facebook until we stopped accepting all the donations. So for the evaluation, or our evaluate the progress, in just 2 hours we raised $160, and with our goal only being $200, we were extremely close. And by November 19th, we reached and exceeded the goal, which was only 4 days after posting the GoFundMe. We ended up raising $285, which was way over what we wanted to. And it ended up getting 55 shares on Facebook, which was, we also received some items in addition to money, like toiletries. And then we decided to stop collecting money at the beginning of December, and we plan to purchase items after we ended the collection, and then deliver items before mid-December. That way they would be there before the holidays, and the youth could end up receiving the items. So for the conclusion, we decided there was many ways to reach out and make a difference using the Imagine process. Everyone may do it different, but this is just how we did it. And all social workers could use this process to create change in their agency. No matter what it is, they could probably figure out a way to use it. And then making a change in a community can be as small as donating money or just a few items. It doesn't have to be a huge ordeal or a huge production. You can just go donate a few scarves and hats and make a difference. And then we realized GoFundMe accounts are a big way to facilitate change, because they can be reached easily just through the social media, and a lot of support can be found.
Okay, so we also decided in the conclusion that we should all kind of talk candidly about what we learned through this process. So for me personally, I learned a lot about how to plan for, plan for the unexpected, or kind of to brainstorm things that could potentially go wrong and how are we going to address that. I think that was really effective, because through that we were able to recognize not everyone might want to contribute money, so what other options can we give them? And that, I think, made our project more received well, especially by older generations who may not be comfortable, putting their credit card information online, something like that. We still gave them options. So kind of anticipating the needs or the issues that can arise. I think that was really helpful. And just using the Imagine process in general, at first this project seems like it was really overwhelming, but once you break it down, it's really not that hard. And that just proves that, you may be faced with a task in social work or in life, and it can seem like a huge challenge at first, but once you kind of break it down and take it step by step, and just, I guess, think critically as you go, things can be achieved. So everything is possible.
I learned that it's easy to want to make change, but in order to actually do it, you have to be active about it. And with GoFundMe accounts, it's easier to make change nowadays. I had never had experience with GoFundMe accounts until we did this project, and I have to say I'm very changed about them. I think that they're a great way to make a big difference in a community, even if you aren't part of that community. And I would definitely say that I'm going to start using them more for projects and things that I feel are necessary for donations.
So I learned that social media is a really big outlet for talking about change and just how many people it could reach. I was getting asked about it off of social media and asked about ways to help or what exactly we were doing, just kind of explain what our goal was. And I just thought that was cool that we were able to reach so many people about our project and try to make change.
So I thought that this project went really, really well. I was really blown away with how many people that we were able to reach and how many people actually donated. I thought we would get several people and just donating $5 each or something. But within the first hour, I was getting the emails to my own email for this since I created the GoFundMe, and we got $100 within the first hour. Somebody donated $100 right off the bat, and I just remember freaking out about that and thinking this is actually happening, and it's actually a way that we can actually facilitate change in our community. And I also think that the Imagine process will be super helpful once I'm actually in the social work profession and I'm actually practicing. It will just be a great way to know how to facilitate change within my agency and a great way to know exactly the steps to take to making a project work and work well. So yeah, I think that's what all we learned. And then these are all the references that we used, and all the in-text citations were back there as well.
Great, thanks for watching.